Welcome to another edition of Coach and Crew Show. I am your host, the coach, Charlie Krause, and today is talking about Smackdown from February 11th, 2 weeks, 8 days till the Elimination Chamber. And overall, this whole week has been more disappointing than not, and I've got a lot of questions starting to arise. And the show opened with a great promo. Sonya Deville, who's starting to become the heel, the corporate heel, if you will, opened and got put in her place by Adam Pearce and AKA Mr. McMahon via from email. And how Sonya can no longer lay her hands on Naomi and interfere with her match, especially with the title match later tonight, which I'll get to in a few minutes. Naomi came out, made a real quick promo, and that's all it had to be. Anything more, and it wouldn't have been as effective. Saying basically, the email said, you can't put your hands on me, but said nothing about me putting my hands on you. And then turned around and just slapped Sonya Deville. Great opening. And then walked off and then set the stage for later this evening. So you can see their rivalry is not over at all. Now we get to my questions. New Day came out, and it wasn't New Day, okay? It was Big E and Kofi, judging by the announcers and by this, even on the title, it said Big E and Kofi. Now, they clapped together like New Day. The crowd went together like New Day, but they were not wearing the same apparel colors like New Day does, and they were not announced as New Day. They did not get a promo for the second week in a row. They just came out. Los Lotharios. They lost to him last time. Gets a promo, gets a victory. It was a good match. Great match. But that's not the conversation. The conversation is what is going on with Big E? What did he do to piss Vince off? Holy cow! He's in the doghouse big time, and Kofi's having to take it on the chin with him as well. I don't understand this. Let's make this comment number one. If you have any guesses of what's going on with Big E or your thoughts about Big E, share them below. Let's make that comment section number one. Moving on. Raid and get paid. Barely even got 4 seconds of a promo in before Eric and Ivar was so viciously Pearl Harbor job submarine attacked by the Usos. And that's all, unfortunately, all I can say about that. Luckily, 8 days from now, we'll get to see the Viking Raiders in action, more than likely losing to the Usos. But still, we'll get to see them in action. So that's something. Roman Reigns and Goldberg each had their backstage promos cut about what their thoughts of the Elimination Chamber are going to be like against each other. Odds are those were filmed in advance and sort of just spliced in. Both of them gave good promos. But the fact that it's backstage and no interaction with the crowd or whatever, you have to knock it a half a point down each just because, simply because. All right. Either frustration or comment number two. Last week, Natalya said she wants a dungeon match with Aaliyah. Oh, that's going to be cool. We're going to see a dungeon match, and we know who's going to win. Well, this week, it wasn't a dungeon match. It's been switched to a no count out and no disqualification. So it's submission or pinfall only, basically. We know who's going to win. Sure enough, even though holding onto the ropes, Aaliyah had to tap out to Natalya. But why did it change from a dungeon match? I don't understand. Come on, you got to stay consistent. And to change that from a dungeon match to just a pinfall or submission match, not fair to the audience or to the credibility of the storyline. Regardless, Xia Li came out, run out for the save afterwards. So it looks like Natalya and Xia Li are going to start facing one-on-one with each other. Still no indications or spoilers who's going to be the sixth person in the chamber match for the women's match in 8 days from now. Sami Zayn, it's obvious, come WrestleMania, it'll be him and Johnny Knoxville one-on-one. Knoxville cut a promo, if you will, was seeing this on WWE Shop, not buying, just having a Sami Zayn t-shirt to which he threw into a shredder. So just you're going to see the banter back and forth. Speaking of banter back and forth, Shinsuke actually heard some words from him as he was one of the two guests from Insane, Rick Boogs being the other. And they actually will have to defend the title next week. I'm looking forward to that. Finally, first time in months that title is going to be truly defended. So Shinsuke, if you've been injured, maybe that's what it is. But if not, holy cow, that belt's got to get off him somehow by hook or crook. Put that belt on Sami Zayn. It needs to get onto anybody right now. It's just another comment. Cesaro didn't even get his own to enter into his own theme song. And the whole time versus Happy Corbin, you knew who was going to win. Okay. And what has gone wrong with Cesaro? If anybody knows that insight, please share away. I'm a huge Cesaro fan. I sit in the Cesaro section if it's still a thing. But man, oh man. Now, we did learn from Drew McIntyre that he and Madcap Moss will be in a Falls Count Anywhere match at Elimination Chamber. So that's got good stuff written all over it. Let's go back. So we've got two of my favorites, three of my favorites. Where's Sheamus? Couldn't even be found. This is really getting frustrating and disappointing. You got some of the best talent there, and it's just being so mismanaged. So mismanaged. 8 days from Elimination Chamber, and Sheamus was nowhere to be found. And he's a top superstar. Well, Cesaro is too. I don't know what's going on. I would love to see a stable with, ready for this, Cesaro, I know, shocker, Sheamus, Finn Balor, and Drew McIntyre. I would love to see a stable. And it doesn't have to be League of Nations because that didn't work. I don't want that type of stable. But I would love to see a stable run out of those four supporting each other. That could be some good stuff. If you like that one, comment below. If you disagree with that, that's okay too. So we got lots of comments going on. Lastly, Charlotte and Naomi for a Smackdown A+ match. It gave you hope that Naomi was going to take the belt off her multiple times before ultimately Charlotte came out the victor. Kind of, I don't want to say predictable, but you assumed that was going to be the route, and the assumption did play out true. You had some chances of hope, and that's what you want from these things, is chances from hope. When you know, like, Cesaro is going to 100% lose, makes the match anticlimactic. It really does. Charlotte got the victory, and yep, Sonya Deville came right back out, started 2-on-1 teaming up against Naomi. Then Ronda Rousey's theme music came in. I was afraid she was going to run too fast and fall down while she was running to that ring for the save. I don't know if anybody else felt the same way as I did. Gets the save, and I doubt they'll ever have a tag team match of the two of them, because that should be the go-home show next week in theory, is a tag match with the four of them, but that's not going to happen. So you got two matches clearly being set up for future, with Mania probably looming for both. Main event type of match, great setup, but there are a lot in between that unfortunately I have lots of questions on. Comment on any one of those sections that you feel most passionate about or most confident about. We'll see you again on Monday Night Raw.